Coming to the stage, we have Zisa Aziza, who is a metaphysical scribe. Zisa has spent 13 years curating her spiritual evolution at truths89.com. She has a self published heptad of books imbued by her Saturnian proclivity towards alchemy. Ooh. Okay, yes. She is the graduate of Smith College and a native of New York City. As a reclusive poet, she has neither publications nor awards to mention, but but Zisa Aziza is a lover of lyricism and metaphor with deep Mercurian reflexivity. She seeks to gather honey during this incarnation to imbue her spirit with nectar, to and permeate her evolution, the evolution of the world around us. Please give a round of applause to Zisa Aziza.
Hello, hello. So glad to be here. As you know, my name is Issa Aziza, and I'm going to jump right into it. I'm going to start with a letter that I wrote in my senior year at Smith College. I hope that you can hear me. Dear sister nations, American patriotism is to Iraq during neocolonialism what the Victorian woman was to the lynched Negro during Jim Crowism. They endure a symbiotic relationship that perpetuates white paternalism. I am standing on the Mason-Dixon line of the world in 2011 and digging into these double-braided chains woven within and between nations. I, a queer negress of the North, am dislodging this crooked red, white, and blue crown, just as Southern white feminists, who were also abolitionists, disrobed their Victorian decorum in 1911. How did my gaze take so long to link the bars between our cages? Black on black crime in the Americas is the result of perpetual disenfranchisement, and the Sudanese killing each other in the hundreds of thousands is the result of being looted for centuries and left to slice crumbs. The West, the North, whatever they call themselves in opposition to you, will always find a way to make a profit off of you. They'll strike a deal with a tribe of you and then drill into you and your land for desired resources. Negroes in the North will nest in cell blocks, lose voting rights, economic viability, and experience the systemic destabilization of the black population to ensure disparity for cheap labor. You in Africa come up on the news, and I never thought to think why it is I never hear of Switzerland or Germany and France the way I hear of Rwanda or Tibet and Palestine. It's sort of how I always hear of black men rapping, raping, b-balling, drug slinging, and HIV passing. Their female counterparts, such as myself, are designated welfare queens and Jezebels who have hyperactive crack babies. To complement these racially stigmatized beings, I'd hear of white women cloning DNA and white men flying to Pluto. I was so busy being the nigger of the USA, I didn't realize you. Neo-colonies, post-colonies, global south, developing country, third world are the niggers of the world. I apologize for my late arrival to these sets of truth. Turned me into a white woman letting go of her man and realizing that being an American means I am a benefactor of your oppression. And because our oppressions are interlocking, as long as I cling to my nation, I too will never be free. Just as white lynch mobs would accuse the Negro of rape to protect their white woman, America accuses you of terrorism to defend our liberties. Just as America hung, lynched, and on occasion poured gas on the Negro, America hangs your nation with our military, lynches your self-governance, and pours democracy on you as we loot your nation and its oil reserves. My nation is the white man devaluing your currency to cheapen your labor, implanting factories in all of your homes, confiscating your farms and rivers because you signed away your nations, hoping to feed them, and sending lynch mobs as troops to teach you democracy because you are a terrorist. I, a queer negress of the North, speak as a white woman would during slavery and say, my heart is flooded with blood clots because I cannot loosen my own chains to remove yours. I am playing double dutch with these shackles and trying to conceive of an epistemological discourse rooted in global emancipation. You, Iraqi woman, how many of your children has he killed? Oh, Yemen, I didn't know he transgressed your borders. Afghanistan, he just wanted to know if he could take you. Baby crying in the Congo, he has no need for you yet. Sisters, Libya and Egypt, He will tease you with his soliloquy of freedom. Keep your legs closed. My indulgence of deliberate ignorance is no longer a source of solace. America is a rhetorician of silence and its euphemisms, but my seeing eyes can now discern hypocrisy from idiocy. And since I began employing language committed to truth, no matter how I ration my consonants, my tongue still bleeds. All the while, my hands are bound to the same chains draped around your nations. Despite feeling powerless, I will keep picking at these manacles and clutch sound with speech. As long as I exist within the master's house, I will not stop pounding these chains until they chip and crack with all means necessary. Because my grandmother told me that her grandmother was a slave. You see, I, a queer negress of the North, have woken up for 21 years, happy to know there were no more slaves. And then I learned of you. I learned of the enslaved nations. I feel like a white woman who has been complaining about her man asking her to trim his toenails when black women have been kidnapped, robbed, pimped, and sold by my white man, my America. Although I am incapable of curing your subjugation, I will be your ally. As such, I will act with empathy and scrutinize our overseer. I will listen intently. I will contextualize my tone, and I will name what my nation does. I will consciously and persistently work to disown American entitlement and privilege myself to less of this world and its commodities as an attempt to walk gently upon your fated neck. Why, of course, applying my experiential knowledge is the least I can do. I happen to be well versed on the sharp density of American whiteness that rips my skin into puzzles. Even so, I must be honest, sister nations, your burden is unfathomable to me. The weight of America must induce scoliosis of the spine and soul. And ironically, for me, I am both America's nigger and wife, simultaneously. But as the wife, I will denounce the muzzle of submission as America dehumanizes your people to expropriate your nation and enrich America. I will assume the capacity of a double agent and subvert the dominant American paradigm. I will keep record of America's tricks so we may have language to articulate the progression of his transgressions. I will prepare for the day when we can stand together in our emancipation and be free of the white man and his America. Sisters, that day better be on the horizon. It is all that I am living for. In word and deed, Zisa Aziza. So that was part one. So now we're going to jump into poems and like quotes. And I wrote that literally in 2011, so I guess that's 13 years ago. Yeah. All right, quote. I woke up in a cemetery, neither ghost nor living, where I write an obituary that is evolutionary. Quote. How has truth been conflated with insanity? Is this a conspiracy? Poem. Viola. My sacrum is holy contraband, bearing a tucked supernova, awaiting the intergalactic command. Poem. Hollow birch. Folks tithing to the church, their down payment on a house in heaven. What would Jesus say about fiat currency and recession? At any rate, the pedo insurance may invalidate the holiness. Perhaps the 12 disciples must rule this felonious. The blood of Christ is living gold. Y'all crusty, and your dollars are made of mold. Poem. Blood butter. Avoiding politics in the pursuit of freedom is tea time in the parlor while the cellar and attic burn. And lacking sincere concern, our existential crisis and matricide churn. Blood butter. Quote. Folk with their skin peeling who are visibly water deprived will pitch you their mastery of osmosis. I stay witnessing corrosive psychosis. Poem. Shovel glass. How does the content of your character inform how you curate the characters in your life? If boundaries keep you safe, how do you protect what you do not know? If you feed ignorance and binge self-neglect, how do you grow? Quote. If you lack the application of knowledge, you'll fare poorly with the administration of your spiritual emancipation. Poem. Doxy. Academia is an atheist religion. that worships truth's interdiction, where omission is God and critical analysis is odd, because cults perfect perception and forbade emancipation's interruption, while we scramble theory over easy semantics. In dissonant delusion, we are fanatic romantics. Poem, Traction. The riddle of trauma is a speedboat cascading the river of your heart. If you don't let go, the water will tear you apart. Poem, North Node. Our collective and respective trauma narrative is the foundation upon which we have staked our identities. As a society, we exhibit an adamant addiction to our pride and its degenerative affliction. We can either choose emancipation or revel in masturbatory annihilation. Our structural and spiritual woundedness is the ecstasy of our inherited and self-perpetuated incestuous assault for power. When we become sober, our urge to devour is superseded by the instinct to empower. And with our souls linked, as we are fueled by the sun, we charge the imperial tower. Poem, Borden. I don't know if I'll be as light as a feather, but I got a dagger on my skull to cut the tether. I'll discard every notion of separation. My consciousness is committed to salvation. Poem, Lead the Charge. Not a purist, but a realist. We all have a role to play. Even your blessings have a copay. Every bloodline ain't royal. This melanin been corrupted. The truth be gutted as its fallacies stay strutted. No need for division, but we must be sifted. In the arithmetic of life, many cannot be retrofitted. I don't care your branded identity or the ventricles of its density. We in school, and I think many don't forgot the assignment. In the pursuit of divine realignment, we personify an evolutionary paramilitary. The fond sedentary intellectualism serves our existential adversary. Your cosmic inheritance is a gift you must apply. Nature or nurture, with polarities, are you versatile? We are disciples for whom only God can verify. And I'll leave you with this last line. The bifurcation ain't about nation. We are jurors of divine litigation. I'll run that back. The bifurcation ain't about nation. We are jurors of divine litigation. NegressOfSaturn.com. Thank you very much.